James Altucher claims to know a secret backdoor play into Elon Musk's next super IPO. In this video, we will investigate the clues James left for the stock so we don't have to buy his newsletter. I'll also analyze the stock to see if it can really gain over 80,000%. Before we do anything, let's look at some recent publicly available stock picks from James to see how good he is. In May 2021, James recommended two stocks that had to do with satellites. The first was Microchip Technologies, and since being recommended, Microchip Technologies stock has experienced a mix of highs and lows. Initially, it benefited from strong demand for semiconductors, especially in industrial, automotive, and IoT markets. However, in 2022, the stock faced pressure due to broader market downturns and fears of slowing chip demand. Overall, the stock is way down. The second stock was Maxar Technologies, and this company was bought by private equity firm Advent International for $6.4 billion, giving shareholders a nice premium. The second stock was Maxar Technologies, and this company was bought by private equity firm Advent International for $6.4 billion, giving shareholders a nice premium. The second stock was ASML, and this one has been a bit more volatile. This stock suffers from an extremely high valuation, but it's still up overall. In October 2024, Altucher recommended XRP, which is a crypto. This has been an excellent pick, and this crypto has quadrupled in just months. Let's dive into the teaser now and try to figure out the stock. It starts with the following headline: Legendary investor releases bombshell prediction. Elon Musk's super IPO could go public at any moment. Plus, discover the backdoor way to profit before Elon's company goes public with as little as $50. These backdoor promotions are very popular with stock pickers. Most people can't invest in private companies, and the backdoor promise is a way to make people believe they are essentially investing in the private company. James starts the teaser by talking about a secret meeting Elon recently held, less than a month from the White House. Here's how Altucher describes it. This meeting was never reported on by the press. In fact, only a small number of insiders were able to attend, including one of my closest contacts, and what my contact learned during this meeting left me blown away. During the meeting, Elon discussed a trillion-dollar technological revolution, and Altucher really hypes up this meeting and claims the following. I'm talking about a new Elon innovation that I believe could have a far bigger impact on the world than any other technology he's created before. In fact, while almost everyone is focused on Elon and Trump, and their plans to radically reshape the government with the Department of Government Efficiency, or while they're focused on Elon's other breakthrough companies like Tesla, or on Twitter, or even on his most recent XAI startup. Behind the scenes, I believe Elon may be quietly planning something much bigger than any of this. I'm talking about the biggest and most lucrative project of his career, an IPO for his greatest innovation ever, which I predict will take place as soon as Wednesday, May 14th, 2025. In fact, I expect Elon's IPO will be a super IPO, one that could create well over $100 billion on the first day it goes public. Next, Altucher starts talking about this IPO and claims Bloomberg says this company delivers internet from the heavens. It's clear the Elon company Altucher is talking about is Starlink. Starlink is a satellite internet service developed by SpaceX. It provides high-speed, low-latency internet by using a network of thousands of satellites in low Earth orbit. It's designed to deliver reliable internet access, especially in rural and remote areas where traditional services are limited. Altucher claims this internet company will change everything, and he says, as you're about to see, the internet breakthrough I'm talking about is set to dramatically change our way of living, and even America's future, forever, over the coming years. 50 years from now, people may remember it as one of the greatest innovations of the 21st century, an innovation which could be bigger than Tesla or anything else Elon has done before. In fact, due to Elon's upcoming IPO, iconic American companies you almost certainly do business with could fall into obsolescence, or even bankruptcy. Companies like Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and more, all could soon go kaput. And according to Altucher, history shows that situations like this are when everyday folks have the rare shot at getting extraordinarily rich. Altucher compares this moment to what the early internet did for investors. He says, what type of gains can you expect to see this time around? Well, let's take a look at what the first introduction of the internet did for early investors. After AOL introduced internet access via dial-up connection, for example, their stock soared a rare, massive 81,844% in about 7 years. And according to James, when DSL replaced dial-up, investors made huge gains. Altucher says, same thing with the company Earthlink. When they helped usher in the age of DSL, which meant no more clogging up your phone line to access the internet, Their stock shot up 6,638% over the next 3 years. And according to Altucher, the same thing happened when cable replaced DSL. He says, as cable internet came and replaced DSL throughout the country, revolutionizing the internet yet again, Comcast investors were rewarded with eye-popping 46,222% gains between 1980 and 2017. Next, James claims he has 3 smoking gun pieces of evidence that show Starlink is about to go public, which will send one backdoor play skyrocketing potentially as high as the examples he just gave. The first smoking gun comes from Elon himself. Back in 2021, Elon said Starlink will go public the second they can predict cash flow. And in November 2023, Elon tweeted out that Starlink has achieved break-even cash flow. I would actually argue these tweets don't mean the same thing. In the first one, Elon said when cash flow is predictable, and the second tweet said Starlink has achieved break-even cash flow. Does that mean it's predictable? Not exactly sure. Next, James moves on to the second smoking gun, which is why Elon needs to take Starlink public. Here's how James describes this smoking gun. While Elon is the world's richest man, with a net worth above $350 billion, almost all of that money is invested in his various companies. In other words, he doesn't just have a bank account with billions of dollars sitting in it. To make matters worse, some of his companies, like Twitter, aren't profitable at all. As a result, Elon is often forced to tap into his profitable companies to raise cash fast. Particularly, he takes money out of Tesla to fund his other companies. This is partially true. Elon does often sell Tesla stock if he needs to make large purchases. However, Elon still goes to banks to get loans like everyone else. When he bought Twitter, he took out nearly $13 billion in loans. James finishes this second smoking gun by saying, well, this gives Elon another big reason to do a Starlink IPO. By taking a second company public, he'd be able to sell shares and free up billions of dollars in cash. And with Starlink already worth $180 billion plus, it's a no-brainer for a cash-strapped Elon to take Starlink public as soon as possible. And the last smoking gun is Bloomberg drops bombshell regarding the 2025 Starlink IPO. James continues by saying, due to that, Elon's plan is to take Starlink public, without taking the entire SpaceX company public. To do so, he plans to separate Starlink from SpaceX in a process called a spin-off, which would form 2 separate companies. Well, rumors have been spreading behind the scenes that that's exactly what's happening. And James says the following, indicating he believes this will all happen in May. These sources line up with my own research. They all suggest the Starlink's super IPO could take place by May 14th, 2025. And with Trump in the White House, this IPO is only more likely than ever, which is why I believe it's so critical to act now. In fact, as the Washington Post put things a month before the election, Elon Musk's Starlink satellite business is set to boom if Trump wins. They all suggest the Starlink super IPO could take place by May 14th, 2025. That's why I'm urging you to take action immediately and set yourself up before that happens. It takes a while, but Altucher eventually talks about the investment he wants you to make before Starlink goes public. According to him, this backdoor play will be the next big opportunity. According to Altucher, he's identified an important supplier for Elon and Starlink. Here's how Altucher puts it. You see, I've identified a hidden company working directly with Elon and Starlink to roll out his plans. Let me explain. Just recently, one of Starlink's test users uploaded a video of a teardown. That's when you disassemble a new tech product to see what's inside. And that teardown gives us a major clue about what Elon is using to connect users to Starlink. Take a look. As you can see, the Starlink device contains a special antenna, and this antenna is built using parts from one small off-the-radar company, a company you can invest in today. Altucher goes on to say, and it gets even better. A few years back, this company quietly inked a massive deal with Starlink. They became a major supplier of Starlink, agreeing to manufacture 1 million terminals at a price of $2,400 each. Said in another way, that's a massive $2.4 billion deal for this tiny company. But that's just the start. As tech adoption accelerates and more people switch to Starlink, the potential for this company could be huge. After all, they're the only company in the world that can make these components. In fact, Elon himself has even praised this company and their technology, calling it one of the most sophisticated pieces of electronics he'd ever seen. I'm going to reveal my guess for the stock in about 20 seconds, but before I do that, I want to remind you to click the link in the description to check out Alpha Picks. I reviewed over 100 stock picking services, and Alpha Picks performs the best and actually beats the market easily. If you click the link in the description, you get $50 off Alpha Picks. And they're running a Valentine's sale that gives you 60-day free access to Seeking Alpha's powerful stock research tools. So go ahead and click that link and take advantage of this amazing deal. Based on the clues in the presentation, it's clear the stock James is pitching is ST Microelectronics and the ticker is STM. ST Microelectronics is a leading global semiconductor company headquartered in Switzerland. It designs and manufactures a wide range of semiconductor solutions for various industries, including automotive, industrial, consumer electronics, and telecommunications. STM is particularly strong in developing microcontrollers, power management chips, sensors, and automotive semiconductors. The company has a diverse product portfolio with applications in electric vehicles, Internet of Things devices, smart homes, and mobile phones. Its automotive segment has seen significant growth due to the rising demand for advanced driver assistance systems and EV components. STM is vertically integrated, controlling much of its manufacturing process, including silicon carbide production, which is key to its power electronics business. STM Microelectronics has been involved in the production of user terminals for Starlink. Reports from 2020 indicate that SpaceX entered into an agreement with ST Microelectronics to manufacture these terminals. However, Starlink seems to be doing more of their own manufacturing these days, and terminal prices have dropped dramatically since Starlink's launch. In the presentation, Altucher claimed ST Microelectronics was being paid $2,400 for every terminal they created, which would equal a $2.4 billion deal. Well, if terminals only cost consumers $300 now, there's no way these figures are still true in 2025. So it's really unlikely ST Microelectronics will see a big boom if Starlink goes public. Who knows how much manufacturing they're doing for Starlink now? So if you're going to invest in them, it's better to look at other aspects of the company. Here's everything you need to know about this stock, and after I'll tell you if I'd buy. First is revenue collapse and grim forecasts. STM's Q4 2024 revenue fell 22.4% year over year to $3.32 billion, and they forecast a 24.4% sequential drop in Q1 2025 due to weak industrial auto demand and supply chain challenges. The stock has already plunged 44% in 12 months. Second is margin crunch hurting profits. Gross margins contracted 780 basis points year over year to 37.7% in Q4, driven by poor product mix and unused capacity charges. Operating margins also collapsed to 11.1%, signaling profitability struggles. Third is automotive and industrial sectors in reverse. Key segments like automotive MCUs, down 30.2%, and industrial sensors are dragging revenue. The book-to-bill ratio stayed below 1, indicating weak order momentum. Fourth is cash flow crisis. Operating cash flow halved in Q4, and free cash flow cratered to $128 million, raising liquidity concerns despite a strong net financial position of $3.23 billion. Fifth is bold 2030 targets, hope or hype. STM reaffirmed its $20 billion plus revenue target by 2030 with approximately 50% gross margins. Critics question if they can execute amid cyclical headwinds, but AI innovations could help. Sixth is AI bubble fears looming. Tech analyst Gene Munster warns of a potential 30% NASDAQ correction driven by AI hype. STM ranks number 8 in AI stocks to watch, but risks remain if the bubble bursts. Seventh is innovation powering future growth. STM's new STM32N6 microcontroller boosts machine learning performance 600 times, targeting AI-driven industrial consumer applications. High-volume production is underway. Eighth is analyst sentiments, mixed bag. Recent analyst actions like Bernstein's downgrade suggest caution. While some see no clear bottom in sight for ST's stock, others maintain a more neutral stance. This mixed sentiment can lead to volatility in stock price. And ninth is competitive landscape. While ST Microelectronics holds a significant position, competition in semiconductors is fierce. They're up against giants like Texas Instruments and emerging players, which could pressure margins and market share. I'm personally staying away from ST Microelectronics for now. Many chip stocks have done very well in the last couple of years, and the fact that STM's stock has crashed so hard in the last year should be a real red flag for investors. If the stock couldn't surge when AI investing was off the charts, do you expect it to surge when things start to cool down? The company has set lofty revenue goals for the future, but I'm skeptical they'll reach those targets and certainly wouldn't bet that they will. Maybe in a year or two, if they are actually on target to hit these goals, I'll reconsider this stock. But as of now, I'm not interested. There's definitely better chip companies to invest in right now if that's what you're looking for. I think Credo Technology is probably the top one right now. In 2024, Credo's stock surged nearly 250%, driven by high demand for its high-speed connectivity solutions essential for AI data centers, securing major clients like Microsoft and Amazon. Another good option is semiconductor giant, Taiwan Semiconductor. TSMC reported a 57% rise in fourth quarter earnings, with profits reaching 374.7 billion new Taiwan dollars and revenue climbing 39% to 868.5 billion new Taiwan dollars, attributed to strong demand in artificial intelligence and high-performance computing sectors. In contrast, ST Microelectronics has faced significant challenges, including a notable decline in financial performance and downward revisions of its financial outlook. These factors suggest that Credo Technology and TSMC may offer more attractive investment opportunities in the semiconductor sector. And make sure to click the link in the description to check out Alpha Picks. This is the best stock picking service, and clicking the link saves you $50 on this awesome service. Also, during their Valentine's sale this week, you get their amazing stock research tool free for 60 days too. So click the link in the description to take advantage of this.